It's a bright morning in the heart of the city. The streets are busy, cars honk, and people rush to work. In a nice apartment complex, Marcus steps out of his home with a smile on his face. Today is special. He walks to the dealership, his heart pounding with excitement. After years of hard work and saving, his dream car is finally his. A sleek, black luxury sedan sits in the showroom, gleaming under the lights. Marcus signs the final papers. The salesman hands him the keys with a congratulatory handshake. Marcus slides into the driver's seat, breathing in the new car smell. He turns the engine on and listens to it roar. With pride, he pulls out of the dealership and heads home. He takes his time, enjoying the smooth ride. As he parks in his usual spot outside his apartment, he doesn't notice a pair of eyes watching him. From her window, Karen stares, her arms crossed tightly. She's in her mid-40s, with perfectly styled blonde hair and a suspicious look in her eyes. She watches Marcus step out of the car. He locks it, glances at it one more time, and walks toward his apartment. He looks happy. Karen frowns. She's never spoken to Marcus before, but she's seen him around. She doesn't know much about him, but something about the situation feels off to her. She looks down at the car again. It's expensive. It's the kind of car that people work years to afford. She pulls out her phone and quickly types into a search bar. Luxury car stolen in city name? No results. She bites her lip, thinking. Karen doesn't have proof, but in her mind, she doesn't need it. She decides she'll keep an eye on Marcus. She just knows something isn't right. The next morning, Marcus leaves early for work. He walks to his car, still smiling as he unlocks it. He opens the door, slides in, and drives off. Karen watches from her window. She's been up for a while, unable to sleep. She has spent the night thinking about that car. She tells herself there's no way Marcus could afford it. He's probably renting, she mutters, but deep inside she doesn't believe that. She needs to know the truth. Karen grabs her phone and scrolls through local crime reports again. Nothing about stolen cars. She sighs, then calls a friend. "Hey, you won't believe this," she says as soon as the call connects. Her friend, Lisa, sounds groggy. "Karen, it's 7 a.m. I know, but listen, there's this guy in my building, and he suddenly has this really expensive car. I don't know." Lisa pauses. "What do you mean?" Karen huffs. "I mean, someone like him shouldn't be able to afford it," Lisa sighs. "Karen, please tell me you're not doing what I think you're doing." Karen frowns. "What? I'm just being careful." "Leave it alone," Lisa warns. "It's not your business." But Karen doesn't listen. Later that day, she stands outside in the parking lot, pretending to take a walk. She casually strolls past Marcus's car. She stops and glances around. No one is watching. She bends down and checks the tires. Perfect condition. She pulls on the door handle just to see if it's locked. It is. Karen looks around again, then takes out her old car key. She knows it won't work, but she slides it against the lock anyway, pretending. She doesn't know why she's doing this. She just feels like she has to. Karen makes a decision. Tomorrow, she's going to take the car. She's going to bring it to the police herself. She's going to prove she was right. It's early in the morning. The parking lot is quiet. The sun is just beginning to rise, casting long shadows across the pavement. Karen peeks through her window, gripping her coffee cup tightly. She's been waiting for this moment. Marcus leaves his apartment, dressed for work. He heads straight to his car, unlocks it, and gets in. Karen holds her breath as she watches him drive off. Now is her chance. She rushes to get dressed, throwing on a jacket and slipping her old car key into her pocket. She hurries downstairs, heart pounding in her chest. Standing in front of the car, she glances around. No one is watching. Her hands shake as she reaches for the door handle. She tugs once. Locked. Karen swallows. She digs into her purse, pulling out a bobby pin. She has no real experience picking locks, but she's seen people do it in movies. She sticks the pin inside and jiggles it. Nothing happens. Karen huffs in frustration. She looks around again. The parking lot is still empty. Then, she remembers. Marcus always leaves his driver's side window slightly cracked. She reaches inside, awkwardly fumbling for the lock. After a few tries, she finally pulls it up. The door clicks open. She freezes. She just broke into someone's car. For the first time, she hesitates. Maybe this isn't a good idea. But then, she reminds herself, she's doing the right thing. If she doesn't stop this now, who knows what Marcus might do. She takes a deep breath and slides into the driver's seat. Karen presses the start button. The car doesn't turn on. She panics for a moment before noticing Marcus's key fob sitting in the cup holder. She snatches it up and presses the button again. The engine roars to life. Her heart pounds as she grips the steering wheel. This is it. She slowly backs out of the parking space, checking her mirrors. Her breath is shaky, but she reminds herself. She's taking it to the police. They'll understand. She turns onto the street, gripping the wheel tightly. Her hands are sweaty. She doesn't know why she's nervous. She's not stealing. She's helping. As she drives, she feels a rush of pride. People always say they want to make the world a better place, but she's actually doing it. She heads straight for the police station. When she pulls into the lot, she parks right in front of the entrance. She takes a deep breath and steps out of the car. She walks inside, chin held high. At the front desk, an officer looks up. "Can I help you?" Karen smiles. "Yes," she says proudly. "I just recovered a stolen car." The officer raises an eyebrow. "A stolen car?" Karen nods. "Yes, I saw a suspicious man driving it in my apartment complex. I knew something was wrong, so I did what I had to do." The officer glances outside at the car. Something seems off. "Do you have any proof it was stolen?" he asks. Karen falters for a second. "Well, no, but trust me, I just knew." The officer sighs and motions for another officer to join him. "Let's go check it out." Karen follows them outside, feeling proud. The officer walks up to the car, peering inside. He notices something on the passenger seat, a folder. He opens the door and picks it up. Inside is a bill of sale, registration papers, and insurance. All of it is under Marcus's name. The officer's expression darkens. "Ma'am," he says slowly, "are you telling me you drove this car here without permission?" Karen's confidence falters. I was doing the right thing. He couldn't possibly own a car like this." The officer glares at her. "And why is that?" Karen opens her mouth but says nothing. A silence falls over them. Then, the officer pulls out his radio. "Dispatch, I need you to call the registered owner of a black luxury sedan. Name, Marcus Williams." Karen's stomach drops. The officer turns back to her, arms crossed. "If this car isn't stolen, you do realize what you just did, right?" Karen swallows. It's just a misunderstanding." The officer says nothing. He gestures toward the station door. "Inside. Now." Meanwhile, Marcus is at work when his phone rings. He answers, confused. "Hello, this is Officer James from the City Police Department. Do you own a black luxury sedan?" Marcus frowns. "Yeah, why?" The officer sighs. "Sir, I need you to come down to the station immediately. Your car is here." Marcus blinks. "What? How?" The officer hesitates. "It seems a woman brought it in, claiming she recovered it." Marcus goes silent, then realization dawns. Karen. Without another word, he grabs his keys and rushes out of his office. At the police station, Karen is sitting in a chair, arms crossed. She keeps insisting that she did nothing wrong. The officer ignores her as Marcus walks in. The moment he sees his car parked outside, his blood boils. Karen finally looks up. Her face goes pale. The officer turns to Marcus. "Sir, can you confirm this car is yours?" Marcus nods firmly. "Yes, I bought it last week." The officer hands him the registration papers. Everything checks out. Marcus glares at Karen. "You stole my car?" Karen stammers. "I was just trying to help. I thought..." Marcus cuts her off. "You thought what? That I couldn't afford it?" Karen looks away. The officer shakes his head. "Ma'am, you're in serious trouble." Karen's face turns white. Karen's hands tremble in her lap. She can feel the heat of Marcus's glare burning into her. The officer crosses his arms. "Ma'am, explain to me why you took this man's car." Karen stammers, searching for words. I was just trying to protect the community. I thought it was stolen." Marcus lets out a sharp laugh, shaking his head. "Protect the community? By stealing my car?" Karen looks at the officer desperately. "I didn't steal it. I was just returning it to where it belongs." The officer raises an eyebrow. "Where it belongs? And you decided that?" Karen stutters, trying to backtrack. I didn't mean it like that. I thought something was wrong." Marcus folds his arms. "Why? Because I'm black and I drive a nice car?" Karen's mouth opens but no words come out. The officer sighs, rubbing his temple. "Ma'am, did you have any proof the car was stolen?" Karen quickly shakes her head. "No, but..." The officer cuts her off. "Did you check the license plate before deciding to take it?" She swallows hard. No, but..." The officer shakes his head in disbelief. "So, you broke into a car, drove it without permission, and brought it here, all based on your assumptions? Karen opens her mouth to argue, but she has nothing to say. She turns to Marcus, her face desperate. I swear I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I really thought something wasn't right. Marcus stares at her, his jaw clenched. You thought I was a thief. You thought you were a hero. Karen's shoulders slump. She suddenly realizes that no one is on her side. She looks at the officer. I was just trying to do the right thing. The officer scoffs. The right thing? Ma'am, do you know what you actually did? Karen blinks. The officer leans in. You committed a crime. Karen freezes. The words hit her like a slap. She never saw herself as a criminal. She was supposed to be the one catching criminals, not becoming one. Her breathing quickens. I didn't mean to. The officer doesn't care. He turns to Marcus. Sir, you have the right to press charges for vehicle theft. Karen's heart drops. She looks at Marcus, panic flashing in her eyes. No. Marcus doesn't answer. He just stares at her, deep in thought. The room is silent. Karen waits, breathless. The officer looks at Marcus. It's your choice. We can arrest her, or you can handle this differently. Karen's chest tightens. She grips the armrests of her chair, her knuckles white. Marcus studies her. She's not sorry about what she did. She's sorry she got caught. Finally he speaks. I won't press charges. Karen exhales in relief. But then Marcus leans forward, his voice cold. But only under two conditions. Karen blinks. Anything. I'll do anything. Marcus crosses his arms. 1. You apologize. Publicly. You humiliated me, so now you're gonna own up to it. Karen hesitates, but nods quickly. Okay, fine. Marcus raises a finger. 2. You attend a racial sensitivity training. And not just once, I mean the full program. Karen's relief fades. She never thought of herself as racist. But now, that's exactly what she's being called. She opens her mouth to protest, but Marcus isn't budging. The officer speaks up. It's either that, or you get booked for Grand Theft Auto. Karen's stomach churns. She looks between the two men. She has no choice. Slowly she nods. Okay, I'll do it. Marcus doesn't thank her. He just nods and turns to the officer. Is that enough? The officer nods. That's fair. He looks at Karen. You're lucky, ma'am. If it were anyone else, you'd be in handcuffs right now. Karen stares at the floor, ashamed. The officer sighs and hands Marcus his car keys. You're free to go. We'll make sure she follows through on her end. Marcus doesn't say anything. He just grabs his keys and walks out. Karen watches him leave, a sinking feeling in her chest. For the first time, she realizes how badly she messed up. The next day, Karen stands outside her apartment complex. Neighbors are gathered around, whispering. She takes a deep breath, feeling their eyes on her. Then she speaks. I want to apologize to Marcus and to everyone. She looks down, forcing herself to continue. What I did was wrong. I let my own bias cloud my judgment. I assumed something terrible about someone because of the way they looked, and that was unfair. I was wrong. The crowd is silent. Karen's face burns with embarrassment, but she doesn't stop. I promise to educate myself and make sure I never do something like this again. Marcus watches from the side. He doesn't smile. He doesn't clap, he just nods. And walks away. If you enjoyed this story and found it eye-opening, make sure to like this video. It really helps us create more powerful content for you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about this situation. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story like this. And if you think someone needs to hear this message, share this video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in